Good evening, friend. I'm so glad you're here with me right now. You are safe, you are seen, and this moment is just for you. I'll speak gently as you let the day's edges soften and settle. Rest your head, let the world become soft and slow around you. Have you ever wondered what it feels like to glide quietly through long, blue mountains? What would it be like to let the landscape unfold like a slow, kind map, page by page? There are small, subtle questions we carry, like distant train whistles, that ask only to be noticed. Tonight, we will ride softly with those questions, not needing answers, only the calm company of curiosity. If you stay with me, you may notice a small, comforting mystery gently resolving into rest. Before the train moves, pause and find your breath, slow and steady like a quiet river. Breathe in for 4 counts, feel the air fill the ribs, and breathe out for 6 counts. Letting your shoulders drop. Notice the weight of your body settling into the surface beneath you, like a soft blanket of night. Let each exhale carry away a small piece of the day, until the mind feels roomy and light. As you breathe steadily, imagine a warm, dim light at the base of your skull, flowing down through your neck and shoulders. With each soft breath, that warm light moves down the arms, into the hands, and out through the fingertips. It continues through your chest, your belly, and your hips, releasing any small knots of tension. Finally, it moves down the legs to the feet, grounding you gently, safely, and completely. Imagine. The train waits like a patient thought at the edge of a quiet town, its paint mellow in the late light. Doors open without hurry, and the platform is a soft place to step from the day into a gentler passage. You find a window seat that feels like an invitation, one that curves just right to support your shoulders. Outside, the lamp posts blink slowly as if breathing, and inside, the lights are low and honey-colored. You settle into the seat and feel the familiar cradle of fabric and cushion, a small, steady comfort. The train releases its first small, polite motion, a roll that says, "Come along," rather than, "Hurry along." Wheels on the tracks make a soft, rhythmic hush, a distant metronome that gently marks the passage of time. Fields slide by like soft sheets of color, a wash of greens and golds, and the air smells faintly of earth and cooling grass. The conductor's steps are distant thumps, measured and careful, reminding you that every movement here is kindly arranged. As the train moves away from the last houses, the land begins to change in patient, unhurried ways. Hills roll under the sky like slow waves and then gather together, forming the first low ridges of the mountains. Those ridges grow taller as the line curves, like pages rising into a book of stone and tree. The windows frame a changing painting where pale air separates near and far, giving everything a soft, forgiving distance. Inside, there is a hush that is not empty, it is full of small, quiet things, the murmur of a blanket being adjusted, the soft rustle of a coat, the occasional sip of tea. These tiny sounds are like gentle punctuation to the long sentence of travel. The light through the window falls across hands and lapses into the warm folds of a scarf. You might trace the grain of the armrest with a finger, noticing the small indentations that tell the train's long history. Outside, the foothills rise, their slopes dressed in the slow green of late summer moss and quiet trees. A thin ribbon of river visits the valley now and then, reflecting a silver line of sky and the soft movement of clouds. Herons stand at water's edge like deliberate statues, waiting without needing to hurry. Farm fences and old stone walls mark the patient work of years, and sheep recline like scattered clouds on the grass. Evening arrives on a tide that is calm and slow. The sun does not leave with a shout but with a soft, amber sigh. Colors deepen as shadows lengthen and a gentle coolness moves through the air, the kind that invites the body to rest. The train lights dim some more, and the windows become mirrors where your face appears small and close, softened by the glass. Perhaps someone 2 rows ahead hums a wordless tune, so soft it becomes part of the motion itself. The hum settles like a thin shawl over the carriage, warm and consoling. You might fold your hands, or let one arm rest along the window ledge, feeling the heater's slow, accepting warmth. There is time here to be quiet without pressure, Time to let small thoughts float by like paper boats on a wide, gentle river. The mountains arrive not as a single event but as a careful accumulation of shapes. Closer now, their slopes woven with trees and thin, pale rock. Pine stands like columns of a slow cathedral. Lichens and moss soften the rougher stones into patches of muted green. Between the trees, you can sometimes glimpse the pale ribbon of a trail or the slow curve of a creek, each a companion to the mountain's patient gait. When the track begins to climb, the motion is gentle and deliberate, like lifting a heavy but familiar blanket over a sleeping child. The rhythm of the rails is slightly different here, a measured cadence that seems to say, "We will rise together, slowly." You feel the slight incline beneath you and let your breath match that movement, a long inhale, a long, deeper release. Mists weave through the valleys, threading the trees and softening their outlines until the world looks as though painted with water. Light filters through mist in thin, golden sheets, and the air carries a faint scent of pine and cool stone. If there are distant farms, their windows glow like small, steady stars, each one a quiet story. There are other travelers, but none that demand your attention. They are present like soft chimes in a distant porch. Two people share a book, turning pages with a mutual, private gentleness. Another folds into sleep with a scarf over their knees. You may feel companionable solitude, the kind that is warm and understood, like sharing a blanket with the day's memory. The sound of the train is a layered lullaby, wheel on rail, the faint creak of metal cooling, the distant whisper of doors, and the soft sigh of the heater. Every vibration is small and regular, enough to be felt more than noticed, like a distant heartbeat that steadies you. Sometimes the train passes a tunnel and, for a moment, the world outside narrows to a close, friendly dark. Occasionally the train pauses in a small station where a single lamp illuminates a bench in a puddle, where a cat might lift its head and blink. People wave with a small, quick motion and then the platform is left with its quiet story again. These brief, courteous pauses are soft punctuation in the long sentence of the ride. Higher yet, the trees thin and the mountain's bones are more visible, smooth slopes studded with fields of wildflowers in brighter weather, or with soft beds of ferns where the earth is moist. Stones here are older and hold the cool memory of centuries in them. The sky seems nearer in these places, like a large, comfortable ceiling you could lean your head against. Deer step silently along the hillside, pausing to look and then continuing their slow, graceful path as if the train were a kindly neighbor. A fox rests curled behind a boulder, its breathing steady and untroubled. A flock of small birds moves together like a living ribbon, a soft pattern against the blue. Inside, a cup of tea might be offered on a gentle tray, steam rising in small, fragrant ribbons that untangle the mind. Blankets smell faintly of lavender and wool, carrying the subtle ease of warmth. You may tuck one around your knees, letting its weight and scent bridge you into a slower rhythm. Somewhere in the carriage, a small paper map is opened and traced by a finger, following the thin line of the track as if mapping a memory. Watching that finger move is hypnotic in a soft way. The line curves, dips, and climbs, and you follow along with it without hurry. The map's paper has a slight crinkle that is oddly comforting, like pages turning in a well-loved book. Twilight deepens and then eases into night. The mountains keep their silhouettes while the stars begin to pepper the sky with patient light. Inside the train, shadows gather like a slow tide and the world narrows to a warm keyboard of small lights and the soft outlines of sleeping heads. There is a hush of shared calm that feels like an embrace. As the train moves, the mind may bring up small memories, a late tea, a kind word, an ordinary triumph, and you can allow each to pass through without clinging. The carriage invites the gentle practice of leaving slight things behind as you move forward, each small release making room for more ease. Consider that not every thought needs to be followed. Some are like the trains themselves, they pass, quietly, and then continue on. Night brings cooler air that smells faintly of evergreen and distant rain. The windows collect tiny beads of mist that tremble and then slide away. You hear the rhythmic breathing of the carriage, the shared, slow music of restful people, and it acts like a metronome for mindfulness. The chair holds you as if it understands the shape of your body and wants nothing more than to be the place where you can dissolve into sleep. A child near the corridor dreams with the small, contented frown of deep sleep, hands curled, an exhalation that sounds like a small wind. An older traveler smiles in their sleep, a quiet expression that suggests a well-loved thought or a remembered path. These human details are gentle anchors, each one a reminder that rest is a shared, tender state. From a high bend in the track, the valley below looks like a slow mosaic of fields, rivers, and tiny roofs, each piece fitting in a calm, patient way. Light from a far-off farmhouse pools as a low, warm glow, and the river shines in a thin, silver braid that threads through the valley. You watch with soft curiosity, the small mysteries of the landscape enough to please without demanding your mind. The moon rises without ceremony, a pale, steady presence that watches over the peaks with a mild, luminous patience. Its light drapes the slopes in a hushed, pearly veil, making the rocks and trees glow as if someone has brushed them with cream. Under that moon, the world feels kind and large, and your place inside it is quiet and good. Between small stations the silence expands like a wide field, not empty but full of the soft activity of breathing bodies and slowing minds. You may notice small intervals of thought followed by larger spaces where nothing needs to be done. These spaces are the true gift of the journey, an unhurried ground where sleep can naturally take root. Lamplight inside the carriage pools in warm bowls on the aisle and glows on faces like a protective halo. The upholstery is a muted pattern, designed to be easy on the eyes and welcoming to rest. There is a comfortable sameness here, a design that invites you to ease. Take another long, steady breath now, matching the train's calm motion, and feel the body soften with each measured exhale. Allow your thoughts to arrange themselves like soft luggage in a compartment, neat and out of the way. You have done enough for the day, the rest is gentle company and movement toward night. The idea of morning is a distant promise, pleasant, uncomplicated, and you do not need to carry it now. Wood and metal sing a companionable song as temperature shifts and the carriage makes the small adjustments that keep it steady. The tiny creaks are not complaints but old, experienced voices telling the same, slow story. A village hugs a hillside, its windows like warm confetti against the dark, and a distant dog barks once, then listens to its own echo and is satisfied. Life here is unhurried and honest, folded into the mountain's arms. If you lift your eyes through a clear patch of window, the stars seem to rest patiently, arranged without rush into gentle constellations. Their light is old and steady, and simply watching them is a small, restful act. Think of the entire journey as a lullaby, not sung loudly, but hummed with infinite patience, a melody that repeats itself kindly until you no longer need to hold awake. Each rail, each valley, each low light contributes a note that makes the song whole. A quiet exchange of smiles is passed between strangers who, for one evening, share the same gentle motion. No names are needed, the small recognition itself is enough, a human nod toward shared rest. Conversations fade into silence as the night asks for nothing more than slow breathing and an easy heart. Sometimes the track bends near a small waterfall braided over rocks, its sound gentle and consistent like a soft curtain. Cliffs hold ancient lichens that make the rock surface appear like a textured painting. These elements are quiet guardians of the path, present but not imposing. On a long curve that seems to breathe slowly, the carriage leans with a careful tilt, and the world slides past in a continuous, calming motion. You might watch the trees sway in a slow, unified wave that mirrors the steady progress beneath you. If any small worry returns, place it gently upon the back of your hands and watch the train carry it away. It will become smaller and smaller as the night moves on. Trust that the track is patient and that the world allows small concerns to dissolve into quiet. A mild tea warms a hand and a small biscuit crumbles softly when tasted, simple comforts that connect you to this calm. The pleasant stickiness of a sweet on the tongue is a tiny anchor, grounding you in the body while the mind drifts. The train crosses an old stone bridge where ivy spills over the sides like slow green waterfalls, and the river below reflects the sky as if it were a mirror for the night. The bridge is worn but kind, carrying the track with reliable grace. If you feel ready, close your eyes gently now, not to force anything, but to let the darkness behind your lids become a soft companion. The image of the passing mountains can remain, but as if folded slowly into an inner pocket where grazing thoughts are contained. Imagine the train as a soft skin around your dreams, a moving shell that keeps the night weather out and the warmth in. You are cushioned, carried, and unbothered by hurry. The world beyond is allowed to be as it is while you rest. There are no problems to be solved in this carriage, only gentle observations and the permission to relax. Give yourself that permission now, a small, sacred allowance to be still. If the map shows a distant station, know that reaching it is not an urgency but a soft, inevitable arrival that will happen in its own time. Until then, let the train and the night guide you onward with kindness. Thank you for sharing this slow passage. Know that this gentle movement will continue even as you slip towards sleep. Listen to the rails, feel the breath, and let the quiet that lives between sounds become your resting place. Allow the body to loosen, the mind to drift, and the heart to be steady, like the train's quiet advance. Now, in the gentle darkness, allow the last thought to soften and the next to fall away. The world is held, you are calm, sleep comes without effort, a natural tide drawing you into deep, effortless rest. Let the train keep going and let your breathing match its calm, slow, steady, and kind. Good night. Travel softly into sleep. A hush lies over the mountains like a promised secret, and it keeps everything tender. Soft air moves through pines and carries with it a quiet patience that feels like a gentle hand on the shoulder. The track winds like a careful story, each curve a chapter that unfolds at its own pace. Night smells of moss and distant rain, familiar and comforting in its simplicity. The motion underfoot is faithful and mild, a steady friend escorting you down the line of dreams. When you exhale, imagine the day loosening its grip and sliding away like mist. Small lights in windows wink and then rest, as if someone has read a sentence and closed the book for the night. A slow clock somewhere marks time in generous beats, allowing the body ample room to let go. The cool touch of glass under your cheek is a quiet reminder of the boundary between inner warmth and the night's air. Gentle shapes pass by the window, unhurried silhouettes that invite rather than demand attention. A hush lies over the mountains like a promised secret, and it keeps everything tender. Soft air moves through pines and carries with it a quiet patience that feels like a gentle hand on the shoulder. The track winds like a careful story, each curve a chapter that unfolds at its own pace. Night smells of moss and distant rain, familiar and comforting in its simplicity. The motion underfoot is faithful and mild, a steady friend escorting you down the line of dreams. When you exhale, imagine the day loosening its grip and sliding away like mist. Small lights in windows wink and then rest, as if someone has read a sentence and closed the book for the night. A slow clock somewhere marks time in generous beats, allowing the body ample room to let go. The cool touch of glass under your cheek is a quiet reminder of the boundary between inner warmth and the night's air. Gentle shapes pass by the window, unhurried silhouettes that invite rather than demand attention. A hush lies over the mountains like a promised secret, and it keeps everything tender. Soft air moves through pines and carries with it a quiet patience that feels like a gentle hand on the shoulder. The track winds like a careful story, each curve a chapter that unfolds at its own pace. Night smells of moss and distant rain, familiar and comforting in its simplicity. The motion underfoot is faithful and mild, a steady friend escorting you down the line of dreams. When you exhale, imagine the day loosening its grip and sliding away like mist. Small lights in windows wink and then rest, as if someone has read a sentence and closed the book for the night. A slow clock somewhere marks time in generous beats, allowing the body ample room to let go. The cool touch of glass under your cheek is a quiet reminder of the boundary between inner warmth and the night's air. Gentle shapes pass by the window, unhurried silhouettes that invite rather than demand attention. A hush lies over the mountains like a promised secret, and it keeps everything tender. Soft air moves through pines and carries with it a quiet patience that feels like a gentle hand on the shoulder. The track winds like a careful story, each curve a chapter that unfolds at its own pace. Night smells of moss and distant rain, familiar and comforting in its simplicity. The motion underfoot is faithful and mild, a steady friend escorting you down the line of dreams. When you exhale, imagine the day loosening its grip and sliding away like mist. Small lights in windows wink and then rest, as if someone has read a sentence and closed the book for the night. A slow clock somewhere marks time in generous beats, allowing the body ample room to let go. The cool touch of glass under your cheek is a quiet reminder of the boundary between inner warmth and the night's air. Gentle shapes pass by the window, unhurried silhouettes that invite rather than demand attention. Sleep falls now softly like a river of warm light, slow breath, gentle darkness cradling, quiet memory, calm hush, stone pine, riverbed, cloud, lamplight, blanket, sage, linen, hollow, breathe, release, evening sigh, stillness, home, safety, rest, comfort, ease, drift, murmur, peace, tide, whisper, gently, evening, sustain, linger, settle, fold, glide, tuck, nestle. If you're enjoying this story, please subscribe to my StoriesVerseAi channel. Now, let's get back to the story. Good night, see you tomorrow, byy.